What is going on with the sports card hobby?
Just a little while ago about a record-breaking price for this card. Take a look at it. It features Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, sold for $12.9 million over the weekend. This is the most ever paid for a sports card. We didn't know who had bought said card. Nobody knew. It was an anonymous purchase at the time. And as we're talking about it on the air, I get a text message from the man who says he is the buyer of that card. And we want to welcome him on the broadcast. We literally organized this in the last 10 minutes.
Florida collector hit quite the home run.
A last-minute buy turned into a life-changing find when he pulled one of the rarest trading cards in baseball history. Local 10 Samir FC is live now in Boca Raton with the story behind this grand slam. Samir.
And check this out. This really has captivated the attention of not only the sports world, but national news as well. At the center of it all, a sports trading card that is now believed to be the third most expensive card ever.
It's crazy to think that we had a $10 million card sitting here in my store.
Says David Davidoff after selling a customer the golden ticket, better known as the one-of-one Shohei Ohtani Dual Gold Logoman autograph card to a loyal customer.
That's right, 2 cards sold for more than $10 million within the last couple years, and we're not done because now there's a new card that everyone is chasing right now.
101 of your NBA debut patch.
Oh my God. I think it's beautiful. I guess I'm signing right here. So it's great. All right. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Oh God, what? I'm nervous. I'll do my next. Go.
So what is going on with the sports card hobby? Is it investing or is it gambling? If you want to find out the answer, stay tuned because we're going to talk about that in this video.
I have a $2 million bounty on the 101 Cooper Flagg rookie debut patch card that's coming out this Thursday in the new Tops. If you find this card, bring it to my fucking front door and sell it to me. DM me if you have this card, and you can maybe even get $3 million if I get it by this weekend.
Oh my God, I don't even know what to say. Yeah, so this is Jelly Bean from Instagram, and if you're laughing as much as I am at that video, yeah, I mean, like, can you get any more fake and performative than that? Like, this girl knows nothing about cards, and obviously someone is funding her. Like, this is what I love about new social media. Like, the new world that we live in is where these influencers, they're getting funded. Like, she's got a sugar daddy somewhere because, like, it's ridiculous. She knows nothing about cards. But here we go. We're going to talk about in this video where if the sports card hobby is gambling or investing, like, what should you do and how do you know what's going on? Now, I have a unique perspective on this hobby. And for those of you that are not subscribed, hit the subscribe button right now. But I've been in this hobby for 40 years, but not just as a collector. I actually was a sports card dealer in the mid 80s. Yeah, for 5 years, I did a card show almost every single weekend. And because of that, I have a unique perspective on this hobby because I actually saw what cards cost and then what they were selling for. Now, I know a lot of you who are watching this channel are older, and so you guys remember the Beckett price guide, and that's what you thought the cards were worth. The problem is that what was printed on the paper wasn't actually what was happening in real life, in real time. And as a dealer, I knew what people were actually paying for the cards because if you looked at the Beckett price guide on these cards, they would tell you that they're not worth that much. Like the Dual Logoman that Kevin O'Leary bought with his 2 partners, they spent $12.9 million. According to the experts, that card was worth only $7 million. And for all of you guys who like to keep reminding me, well, the card's worth what someone will pay for it. Well, guess what, folks? Then the card must be worth $12.9 million. It's not, but I can't argue with the masses. You guys keep saying the card is worth what someone will pay for it. Okay, well then guess what? The Beckett Price Guide has been wrong for 40 years. And that's what you need to hear. Not from me, from reality. So what is going on with this sports card hobby? Is it investing or is it gambling? And so that's what we're going to talk about in this video, because if you don't understand what's going on, you're the one that's going to lose all your money. Because if it's investing, well, that makes a lot of sense. But if it's gambling, guess what? Then you're going to regret every decision you make, and I don't want that to happen. So let's get into it. So let's do a sales recap, all right? So the first card that we want to go over, this 2007 Dual Logoman, that was the one that was bought by Kevin O'Leary and his two partners, Shine and Secure Collectibles, for $12.9 million. Then we have the 2024 Paul Skeens debut patch that sold for $1.2 million. That was bought by Dick's Sporting Goods. And lastly, we have this now Shohei Ohtani Dual Gold Logoman that was also bought by Shine and Secure Collectibles for $11 million. Those are the three cards to look at, and the next card that we already know is there's bounties now for $2-3 million. I don't know what Jelly Bean is doing for the Cooper Flagg debut patch card. So that one is in the boxes right now for basketball, so people are going to chase it. So what should you do? What does this mean? Does this mean that the hobby is healthy? Does this mean that you should be investing in sports cards, or is this just real gambling? To give you a better sense of what this hobby is, I want to give you a story from my own experience. I've been in this hobby since the mid-'80s, so 40 years, but I was a dealer, which means that I had a much different experience than most collectors, because I was actually talking about buying the most expensive cards in this hobby way back when. Back in 1990, my father talked to Alan Rosen, aka Mr. Mint. I'm going to show you a picture here. All right, so Mr. Mint is the guy that sold the most expensive mantle card in the history of the hobby. Yes, this one, the 9.5 SGC. Now, my father was talking to him about that card in 1990, and at the time, Mr. Mint was asking $52,000 for that card. If the card sold for 11.3 in 2022, if you could go back to 1990 and pay $52,000, of course, it's a no-brainer. But here's the point. In 1990, no one on planet Earth was giving Mr. Mint $52,000. This is what all the influencers won't tell you. And the point is that no one bought that card for $52,000. In fact, it took Mr. Mint 2 full years to sell that card. And someone eventually from Long Island bought it for $50,000. So he didn't even get what he was asking. He was asking for 52. Someone negotiated it down for 50 because it took him 2 years to sell that card. In fact, it took him way longer than that because he had bought it in the 80s. This was part of a big collection that he bought up in Massachusetts, which he bought in around 86 or 87. So we had these cards for a long time. And this is what all the influencers on YouTube don't want to tell you. Frankly, I don't think they know how, because all of the people that you watch, we're talking the Sports Card Investor, Card Collector 2, Trike Sports Cards, all of them, Mojo Sports, they just got into this hobby. They are newbies compared to me. I've been doing this for 40 years. So when I say, oh, this is what the hobby was like, that's because that's what the hobby was like. And all of the people on YouTube are all new. So when they say, oh, you should do this, trust me, they don't know what they're talking about. So who made out? Did Mr. Mint make out, or did the guy that spent $50,000 way back in 1992, did he make out? And this is the big hobby question, because if this hobby is an investment, then yes, spending $50,000 in 1992 makes perfect sense. But if this is just gambling, that's what you need to know. Because did the person from Long Island who spent $50,000, were they just gambling on this card? We can only look at that situation from hindsight, and hindsight is 2020. So in 2026, if we look back and we go, oh yes, of course I would spend $50,000 in 1992 because I already know that the card is going to sell for over $11 million in 2022. But you didn't know that in 1990 and 1992 and 1994 when the hobby crashed. And this is the piece that the influencers don't want to admit, is that they want you to believe that card prices go up no matter what. Except there's no real evidence to prove that. In fact, most cards don't go up. Now, I've talked about that a lot on this channel, but it's hard to prove these things because of the fact that I had no real tangible data. But I think I know a way to show you what I mean now. Before I get too deep into this story, I want to make sure that I bring the receipt. So this is a receipt from Mr. Rosen, just so everybody knows. I used to buy a lot of stuff from him back in the day. Okay, that's a little invoice. So when I say that my father actually talked to him about the mantle card, it's true. Like, we talked to him in 1990. He asked for $52,000. I told my father, are you out of your frickin' mind? And so we did not buy that card. In hindsight, that card sold in 2022 for over $11 million. So if you're going to go back and say, oh, well, these are investments, then absolutely you should buy all of these cards. But here's the point. So this dual gold logo man, okay, from Shohei Ohtani, it was just bought for $11 million. Now, if this is an investment, that's going to be worth more in the future. Let's say 20, 25, 30, $40 million in the future. But what if it's not an investment? What if it's just gambling? Or what if a wealthy person like Kevin O'Leary and his partners, what if they're buying it not for the value that it's going to be in the future, but just present day value? Because as most of my audience has said is, well, the card is worth what someone will pay for it. But here's what no one on YouTube wants to tell you. You cannot set the comp. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but if you're the only person that bought the card, that's not a comp. That's what you paid for it. And that's not what someone else would pay for it. Now, I had this conversation with Jeremy Lee, who you guys may or may not know. I don't know. He's part of the whole ecosystem of the sponsorships, and so he wants to say that he has like independence and integrity, although he doesn't, because he gets his entire salary. His whole career is based on pumping up the system. I am the only independent person on YouTube telling you the truth. I have no sponsorships, and if I had a sponsorship, I would only talk to a company that I believe in, because I am not going to sell my integrity for YouTube. Just not going to do it. So here's my point. If this is a real investment, then the card should have some actual value. Therefore, the card will go up in price. Like when you invest in real estate or you invest in a stock or a bond, there's some extrinsic value, and there's intrinsic value, right? So I don't know if you guys understand that concept. I know a lot of you watch Boston Card Hunter. I'm not sure he's ever explained the difference between intrinsic value and extrinsic value. There's no extrinsic value to the card. Like, you can't analyze the card and say, oh, well, this card should be worth X based on what? It's just speculation. And the reason why it's speculation is because there's not enough sales. Like, if we had a hobby that had sale after sale after sale, like the stock market, when you buy a publicly traded stock, there are millions of stocks out there, like actual shares per company. And because there's millions of shares out there, people are trading them every single day. And that's how you know what the market says. The problem with the sports car market is, one, there's not enough sales. And especially with these one-of-ones or these very limited cards, there's just not a lot of data out there to say, oh, this is exactly what this card goes for. Because one sale does not make a comp. That just means what you paid for it. And you're not allowed to make the comp. So this one-of-one for Shohei sold for $11 million. The person that made out is the guy that pulled it out of the box. He's the guy that made all the money. Is Shine going to make any money on that card? Well, no, not really, but that's not why they bought it. That's not why they paid $11 million for it. And this is the difference in today's hobby than back in the day. And I need to be honest and kind of give you guys like what is actually going on. And then we're going to get to investment or gambling so that you know what to do. So here's what the wealthy, uber wealthy people are doing with sports cards right now, is they're buying up the cards. Again, these rare grails, the rare ones, because at this point, everyone on Wall Street is now convinced that these cards are worth millions and millions of dollars. That's good for them because then they can go to a bank and say, I want a loan off of this asset. This is my collateral for the loan. Because the way that the uber wealthy are avoiding taxes is by taking loans out on their assets. They're doing the debt spiral. Basically, they take a lot of loans out, they don't pay any income tax on loans, and they just use the loans to fund their lifestyle. The problem being is that you are getting caught up now in that game. Now, if you have the money to spend on these cards, like if you have an extra $1 million, absolutely, you should probably go after the Cooper Flagg card. You should go and contact Trike, Troy from Trike Sports, and say, hey, I will buy your one-of-one Cooper Flagg for $1 million, because now you have basically told the bank this is worth $1 million. It's not a comp because you can't set the comps. But you can now go to the bank and say, I have $1 million asset because you spent $1 million on it.
Oh my God.
There's no real reason for that value to go down unless you try to sell it, and you can't sell it for $1 million, which means you're kind of stuck. You have to hold on to that card. So like the one-of-one debut patch for Paul Skeens, that sold for $1.1 million. That was to Dick's Sporting Goods. The problem is if Dick's Sporting Goods tries to sell it and they can't sell it for $1.1 million, guess what happens to the value of that card? Oh, so these wealthy people have kind of put themselves into a catch-22. Kevin O'Leary spent $12 million on that, dual logo man, but he really needs to make sure that it sells for at least that or more. Otherwise, he loses his investment. Not just that, but his whole portfolio gets called into question by the banks. And that's where this is no longer a hobby for you guys. But let's get to this question. Is this investing or is this gambling? And I'm going to give you the answer right now. You are playing with gambling. This is a casino, or more accurately, Fanatics has built this hobby into what is probably the best lottery system ever. Like, this is way better than Willy Wonka. This is better than the New York State Lottery. Again, I'm from New York, and the old marketing campaign for New York Lottery used to be $1 and a dream, right? So you paid lottery for $1 and you could dream as much as you want. The odds of you winning the lottery were absolutely ridiculous. Like, you were never winning the lottery.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
What are the odds of winning one of these one-of-ones? Well, they're actually better than the lottery, but they're not good. And that's the thing that I hope people are understanding, is the odds of you winning the lottery are very small. So let's take the Trike sports cards. I'm sure you guys have seen that. It's gone viral. So he pulls the 1/1 Cooper Flagg. Now, I have spoken to Trike before. I did not talk to him after this card. He's a great guy, and it couldn't have happened to a nicer person in the hobby. But here's the point. He spent $20,000 on those national boxes. $20,000. Now, he pulls the card. Here's where the gambling comes in. Nobody talks about the losses. So he spent $20,000 and got the card that he wanted. But how many people spent $20,000 and didn't get anything? See, we don't see all the losses. We only see the wins, and that's when it gets into this casino gambling, because gamblers only talk about their wins. Where are all the videos of the people who bought cards, who bought boxes and didn't win anything? See, we don't see those videos. We don't know about how many people. So let's say there's 10 people that spent $10,000 on national boxes. Okay, well, 9 of them lost $10,000. That's $100,000 in the drain. And none of us are seeing the $100,000 that was wasted, because we only see the wins. We only see the person who actually pulls the card. So we think, again, as the public, oh, this is well worth it, but it's a lottery. Now, if you have the money and you don't care about wasting it, then go and buy the box. Because I'm going to say that on these Topps Chrome basketball boxes, I don't know how much they are. I think they're around $1,000 each. So if you have $1,000 to waste, absolutely buy it. And I know that doesn't make any sense, especially listening to my channel for multiple years, because I've been telling you don't buy wax. But here's the difference. Here's the nuance. This is a gambling hobby, and all of these boxes are lottery tickets. So if you don't mind buying a lottery ticket, you're the one that will win all the money if you pull it out of the box. But if you're doing the bounty, you're not going to make any money. And that's the shift hopefully people are getting from this video, is that this is not an investment. This is a lottery. So if you think about it that way, so yes, you should look at which one of the boxes has the 1/1, which one has the rarest patch, which one has the RPA. And those are the only boxes you should buy if you don't mind this being a lottery, because the person who pulls the card out is the only one that's going to make any money. That's it. The person who buys the card is buying it for the value of the loan off the asset. That's the uber wealthy people. And that's how this hobby has actually turned into something that's, I mean, it's quite exciting. I mean, you're dealing with a really big lottery. Now, it's good that Wall Street will buy these assets because that gives you the lottery ticket. Like if Wall Street wasn't spending millions of dollars on these cards, it's not really worth all that much. And that's why this is not an investment, because the only people that are going to buy your cards at these high values are these uber wealthy people who are going to use it as an asset to get a loan. This is going to be collateral off a loan. That's the only reason they're buying these. It's it. They're not buying them for any other reason, and they have no reason to ever sell them, because the minute they sell it, one, it's either going to go down in value, or two, now they have to pay taxes on it, which they don't want to do. They're using these as collateral for loans. Hopefully that all starts to make sense, and this is the newest thing that the hobby has now transformed into. So if you want to get that Cooper Flagg debut patch, and I don't know how much it'll go for. Put it down in the comments below. How much do you think this card will actually go for? I mean, if Jelly Bean is offering $3 million, I mean, I could see someone offer 5 or 6, because, I mean, that's a ridiculous girl on Instagram. I mean, who is she? She's a nobody. So somebody who actually is like, oh, okay, this is a serious card because some knucklehead wants it for $3 million. Well, then yeah, $5-6 million for that card sounds reasonable. from a Wall Street bro. And so the person pulling it out of the box is the one that's going to make all the money. Now, here's the issue, which I want to be clear on. The breakers are the ones buying all the boxes. And that's the problem, is that your odds of winning the lottery are really small because the boxes aren't going to the public. See, your chance of actually getting this is really small because all the boxes are going to the breakers and they're the ones opening it. So you have to be in on one of these breaks, which makes it even worse. That might be the worst part about this hobby, is that the breakers are taking away your odds. That's it. I mean, that's really the bottom line. This is a full-on lottery. It is not an investment. Yes, you can make a ton of money if you pull the card out of the box, but that means it's a one-time deal. So if you pull it, you have the lottery ticket, you sell it. Do not hold on to the card. Sell it immediately. Get the cash. Get it, because that's the whole point. Just sell it to somebody and get the money. Otherwise, I don't know why you're doing that. But I'm going to say this. If you win the lottery once, don't keep going back. So like Trike Sportscards, and I hope I can get him on the channel, but like you should never buy another box ever because you already won the lottery. Do you think you can win the lottery twice? Like, it's not going to happen. And so this is it. Like, he needs to make $1 million on that card and then decide what he wants to do, because, I mean, I don't know. This is a real inflection point for anybody that actually pulls one of these cards, because you can't win the lottery twice. It's impossible, because you're going to have to buy more and more boxes. And as the prices of the boxes go up, this hobby gets really expensive. So that's it. That's the whole kit and caboodle. Hopefully everybody understood that. Hopefully I explained it well enough. But if we're talking about the question, is this an investment or is this gambling? The answer is it's gambling. You are entering into a lottery. Every one of these boxes that has these grails is a lottery ticket. And you will absolutely, the person who pulls the card is the only one that makes all the money. The person buying the card is not buying it to make money. And I know that just kind of mind fucks everybody in the head. Like, what do you mean they're not trying to make money? They're not. They're using it as collateral so they can fund their rich and expensive lifestyle without paying income tax. That is it. So hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, this is Doc saying I'll see you in the next one.